On this episode of DC On Screen, we are talking about freaking Birds of Prey. And the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
It was.
There's your spoiler-free review. It was amazing. Go see the movie. We're talking about the movie, deep diving, right after this commercial that we have no control over, really. I'm sorry if it's a Trump ad.
I like the dismissive. I'm sorry.
We all love the low country lifestyle, which is why we should do our best to protect it. To get insurance that helps you protect your home from whatever the low country throws at you, contact CT Lowndes and Company today. Their local agents can review your coverage to help make sure you're properly protected. CT Lowndes and Company has been helping protect and insuring the low country since 1850. Visit ctlowndes.com to learn more and request a quote. That's ctlowndes.com.
Welcome into DC On Screen, episode 581. I'm your host, David C. Robertson. This, my own little bird of prey. My little bird, Jason Goss.
Hey.
And of course, we are DC On Screen, the podcast where we discuss the DC Comics multiverse on film and television, give honest opinions on projects upcoming and past, and believe that every version of property is valid, even if we don't want it to be. If it's been released, it is fair game, so beware of spoilers. And welcome to the show.
We did spoiler free, right?
Yeah, we already did the spoiler free.
So that's done.
Can I say real quick, though, we're giving away a Joker code.
Oh, yeah.
The digital code for Joker. If you don't have that, all you got to do is either give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or the podcatcher of your choice, whatever gives you an option for a review, or share it on your social media. And, I don't know, take a screenshot or tag us or just let us know it's happening and that you want to enter the contest. And you are going to be thrown into that pot. And we will use a random number generator to pick a winner sometime in early March. Probably the first... I'm just lazy and haven't looked at the calendar to see when we record in March, at the beginning of March. But it's going to be like the first week of March.
Well, it won't even be laziness. We're still waiting on some stuff.
Yeah.
So that's still to be deed.
But anyway... Let's talk about Harley Quinn, man. And sorry, Birds of Prey. And a lot of people have complained that it's too Harley centric. I don't think it was, though.
No, I thought everybody got a lot of play. I mean, it was definitely Harley centric.
It was Harley centric,
but I mean, everybody got their own little bit of the story. I mean, I want to say everyone but Cassandra gets literally a quick little montage of their backstory. As narrated by one Harley.
Yeah, and if I had, if I had one real criticism of the movie, it was that she really is Cassandra in name only, Cassandra Cain in name only, because I'm just a big Cassandra Cain fan. I love that run from Batgirl, and I love Orphan. Yeah, I just like.
I say there's no background, but I mean, short of the mute quality of it. Clearly not a thing in this movie.
Right. And not being able to read body language and fight like a Mo.
Sure. But, I mean, she literally says in the movie that she has potential.
Right.
And she's taken on as an apprentice. I don't have any reason to think you're going to be deprived a kick-ass version.
I enjoyed the hell out of this film. I am curious because I think there was a story to tell that would be very in line with the story they were telling about Cassandra Cain breaking away from the patriarchal asshole in her life, David Cain, who basically abused her and taught her to be an assassin.
Yeah, I was going to say in one way though, she's not that far off. She's still got an abusive father. Yeah. Violence was a key part of her home in this movie, and she did act out in a way that was very unique, we'll say, for a foster child.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there were elements. For sure.
She's definitely got skills.
Yeah.
But anyway,
she got skills. I was watching the whole thing thinking, like, man, if I just went through the streets trying to do what she did on one afternoon, if I just picked a time from like 3 to 3:10 on a random afternoon and strolled down the street, by 3:02 and a half, I would be on the pavement with someone like holding my neck down by their foot. I ain't got those skills.
Yeah.
She clearly do.
So
I didn't think there was such a thing as a badass pickpocketing scene either, but it was pretty cool.
If you didn't know there was that scene, you have not seen Sneaky Pete on Amazon Prime.
I have not.
Oh my God.
I have not. I know of it. I have not. The closest I've seen is like the gypsy related thing that Jeffrey Donovan does on Hulu. Not Chance. I'll remember later. Whatever.
I don't know that.
It's a Romani family thing.
Okay.
It was good. First season was.
All right.
Didn't see the second. Yeah. Shut Eye. It's called Shut Eye. Anyway.
Oh.
Fun tangent.
So I don't want to harp on what could have been or what the comics were necessarily. I think they wound up getting pretty close in a lot of regards and had a lot of fun getting there.
Yeah. It was really close. There was a lot of good feel to the characters. Like the dynamics made sense. Felt like they kind of earned it even as they went through. Mm-hmm. Like it didn't, nothing just kind of happened. Like if there was any one moment where I was like, okay, something just kind of happened. It was when she's just destroyed the board in the prison and the cell's open. I was like, well, that's just a beat.
Yeah.
That's just a card people pull. But it amounted to a great scene. It always does.
It did.
Honestly, the only thing I thought I could have had more time with, just first take, was maybe Bruce, the hyena. But he looked like a fully CGI'd hyena. So
I think he was a dog, and then they morphed him into a hyena.
That's even better. Do you paint a dog?
I don't know.
Green paint or blue paint a dog? Because
I don't think so. I think they just. I don't know.
Surely that would result in some kind of 10-man situation.
I knew we weren't doing news yet, so I didn't get to read it all. But,
I didn't either. But I mean, he looked great. It was fun. I love their little relationship though. It was haunting in a way. Like
haunting.
Like the way she's like strolling through this shady ass pet dealer's shop, and then she happens upon what she will call Bruce the hyena.
I take payment in kind.
Yeah, yeah. We knew where he was going, and like the way she immediately takes to the dog, and he immediately was like, "Yes, you're my people." That was fun. And then later, like the whole thing's blown up, literally blown up. And she's just running around, where's Bruce? Where's Bruce? Like, they've developed a bond very quickly. And I appreciate that between a person and their dog. I get that.
Yeah.
But he was saved by the end of the film.
He was.
So I was good.
I was happy with that.
Yeah.
I was bummed out.
And she said he was just wandering through Chinatown. I was like, how many people died? There's some morgue activity as a result of him just wandering around.
There was a second where she was going like, where's Bruce? Where's Bruce? I was like, oh shit, they're about to do John Wick. Like, she's going to be like, you know what? You can come after me. You can come after this little girl and her diamond. You don't screw with my dog.
That dog was innocent.
That hyena.
And honestly, without the John Wick franchise, it wouldn't have surprised me if they'd done it. Mm-hmm. But you can't now.
Probably
it's too popular a thing is like, you killed my dog. Well, that's John Wick.
Well, if she said, I'm going to go John Wick on your ass for killing my dog.
See, that would be, you could work it in.
You could do that.
You could work it in. And that would work. That would work for this. It did break the fourth wall some. I enjoyed that.
Oh, absolutely.
I even saw a little bit of Twitter activity that was like, there seemed to be some backlash about like, oh, she's breaking the fourth wall like Deadpool, blah, blah, blah. And people correctly pointing out, no, like, she was doing that in 92.
Oh, yeah.
Was,
someone posted the...
like, they were both doing it in the books at any given time. Like, Deadpool's fourth wall breaking is... This isn't an either or a first thing. Like, they've both been doing it since their inception. Mm-hmm. It's not a new trick, and it's not anything anyone owns. It's one of those, come on, guys, what are we doing here kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the first person who made it popular, I mean, what do you think Deadpool was doing in that end credit sequence in the first one when he, like, comes out and addresses the audience as Ferris Bueller?
Yeah.
We all know who made that popular. Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, there was a great, that someone posted a great clip from Batman the Animated Series of her falling and holding onto that sign with the straw, and she's literally grasping at the straw. She's like, talk about grasping at straws.
Yeah.
As she's like looking directly at the camera, like, yeah, this is a thing Harley does.
Yeah.
She did in her first appearance, talking about how she should have stayed in beauty school. Her mother was right.
Yeah.
We just didn't know it was that deep back then.
Yeah. We did. Those were innocent times. I mean, it got weird though. Ah, fuck, did it get weird? But the one thing I want to talk about more than anything, the violence. Speaking of John Wick,
the violence was kind of off the chain.
The violence was fucking amazing.
It was great. I did want to ask you because you hold a certain level of contempt for Quentin Tarantino, and I've heard all over the place that this is less a comic book movie and more of a Quentin Tarantino movie. How do you feel about that?
Nah,
No?
Not buying that. I mean, it's also a certain amount of contempt that comes without study anymore. Like the last, I don't remember the last one of his films that I watched because I just at some point decided I didn't like him very much.
Okay.
So I don't have I don't have like a thorough response and rebuttal set up. I couldn't go to like a congressional subcommittee with why I don't like him anymore. I would have to do some research. I just know that when I have tried it, it wasn't for me, and then especially when it got into the Kill Bill franchise, I was like, okay, I'm good here.
The Kill Bill franchise is where I fell off of that, but I think I do want to go back and like just look at everything he's done and just kind of reevaluate. It's been a lot of years. In
a world where there's not so much that I would rather watch, I would probably go back to do it just as an experiment. If anything, to see if I'm wrong, because I'm always, not always, no one's always happy to be wrong. Right. But as a human, I like experiencing the idea of being wrong and going for it sometimes. Right. And that's one of those where I've taken such a stance that I would intentionally be like, no, I'm going to sit down and watch these movies. And if I like them, I fucking...
When I decided I didn't like Tarantino, I was a certain type of person.
Yeah.
And that type of person would not have been the person you saw tonight who was giggling wildly and clapping at the new Fast and Furious trailer.
It's one of those where like
because I was happy that it was so stupid.
I'll make a promise right now. It's so wonderfully stupid. If at some point I fracture a bone, break a bone.
Oh, already backpedaling.
No, I'm forward pedaling.
Okay,
because a fracture wouldn't do this. I need to be put out. I need like 3 straight weeks of you can't go to work in the hospital or something like that. In the event of that, I will probably go back and watch that franchise and probably laugh my dick off a little bit. I mean, it seems enjoyable in its own way.
Yeah. And my wife was like tensing up. She's like, that's just stupid. They lost me. And I was like,
oh no, stupid.
They sold me.
Yeah.
Like, this did nothing but encourage me. Yeah. Like, oh man, I gotta watch this franchise.
I hate to give it like a small pitch for a Fast and Furious movie, but it's in the trailer, so I might as well. What the Fast and Furious movies do, and I have to give them credit for what they do, even if I don't watch them, is they take suspension of disbelief and strap a rocket to the back of it.
like the rocket on the Pontiac in that trailer.
And send that fucker into Mach 1. Yeah. You know, one day. In a perfect world, one day. But the violence in this one, one seemed so well shot. So well coordinated. And I kept thinking, the whole time watching this movie, I kept remembering, she did a lot of this herself. I don't think all of it, but a lot of it. I mean, you can kind of see it. Like, she clearly, that's not a body double for most of this, especially the action scenes. Like, they taught her.
I in no way am willing to make a comment like that these days.
Look, you can be really good at it. I know.
They can throw on have a body double and throw on Margot Robbie right on top of her in CGI. Well, I don't know.
I've heard reports of 2 things. One, I think I talked about this previously somewhere.
I think I did. Yeah, there were reports that she did a lot of herself.
That she did a lot herself, and then there was the report from Gail Simone that she just was straight up intimidating on set because what she was doing, like they would show her something, and then a week later she'd come back and she was doing it at the level they needed her to do. Like she'd learned that skill completely.
Yeah,
and I kept watching it, thinking like, man, she even. Like, take away shots where it may be a double. Just take all of those away off the table. The shots where I'm seeing her face do a thing. They didn't CGI the rest of her body on top of a face. I'm still watching it and being like, man, she's swinging that bat like a champ. Like, we're not talking about, like, they taught her or told her, hey, swing up. She's planting her foot, swinging with her hips, doing, like, I was honestly watching her body mechanics because I played a lot of baseball. I know how to swing a bat. She was swinging that bat. She was doing it right. And then she kept switching between that and the roller skating, where one of the more impressive things was one shot in particular, and I know it was her. It was clearly her. You could see her face while she's doing it. That like she approaches 2 people, does a quick spin, and hits with a mallet in 2 different directions while she's doing it.
Yeah,
that would throw almost anybody off a set of skates. I mean, did you ever skate?
I tried a couple of times and almost died.
I rollerbladed a lot as a kid. Skated here and there. But even doing that, you can, like, you know the mechanics of you know the mechanics of how this works. You're not supposed to be able to get your posture back enough to swing a bat in another direction. I don't care if the bat is a prop that weighs 2.5 pounds.
I can't stand in roller skates.
But it is not supposed to be doable.
But I'm 6'4" and clumsy 6'4" at that.
It was impressive to watch.
Right.
It genuinely was.
If it was her, that's impressive.
The parts that I can guarantee are her were
You
impressive.
can't guarantee anything.
Yeah.
You really can't.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Nymphomaniac by Lars von Trier's?
No. But, I'm just saying, watching this one, I'm not saying all of them. I'm vouching for certain shots that I was watching specifically and be like, no, that's actually her.
I will tell you, Shia LaBeouf did not have sex in that movie. But if you watch the movie, it looks like he did. Like full frontal P&V, man. Like, that is a disturbing movie.
I'm going to go with I believe you, and I choose to investigate no further.
I wouldn't.
But that aside, I'm willing to bet full-fledged that the scenes that I'm talking about, where I'm sure I'd bet money on.
Maybe.
No matter the count of what it was and wasn't, it looked phenomenal.
Shall it be another penny bet, sir?
Sure.
100 pennies thrown through the window of a car.
Several scenes and short of that, yeah, like the actual scenes as they happened, no matter how they happened, were so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just sitting there cringing audibly several times. I mean, Harley broke some bones.
Oh yes,
she broke some real bones.
Yes,
you saw people get bent,
like knees snapped one way,
hospital
then back
bills,
the other way, and then back the other way again. Just
yeah, that scene in particular. That one guy with the door. Oh
yeah, faces being cut off.
Oh yeah, that was early on. That was a hey, welcome to the movie.
Yeah. By the way, Roman Sionis. Okay.
All right, go straight to him.
Yeah, I want to go straight to him for a second.
McGregor.
Yeah. I do want to point out there is no indication, no explicit indication that he and Zaz were gay in this movie.
No, nothing explicit.
I think Ewan was messing with you.
Yeah, there's nothing explicit specifically, and they have one of those relationships that can be explained several ways.
Yeah, misogynistic, definitely.
Yeah, oh yeah,
they're both awful.
Yeah,
but
they're ambiguously sexual, and their codependency is doesn't have to have a romantic side effect to be to exist that way.
As for his performance, I loved it, but I just my God, I wish I could sit him down, look him straight in his eye.
I want a one-question interview.
One-question interview with Ewan McGregor. You were doing Jerry Lewis, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
He was doing Jerry Lewis, y'all.
I believe it.
From the overbite to the stuffiness, like he had the glasses. He was like walking around like, oh my, he was Jerry Lewis, dude, and it was phenomenal. I would have never thought to assign like. I know that there are lots of Black Mask fans out there that are not going to be turned on by this. They're not going to like this. And to be fair, Black Mask has never been done well, particularly well in.
He's never gotten a really good live treatment.
No, live or animated treatment. Like, the closest I can think of was
the closest.
Under the Red Hood, maybe? But he was still kind of made a fool.
I forget which Arkham game. He got a pretty good treatment for a while there. And then that was a red herring.
Mm-hmm. Personally, never cared for the character. He's just never been very interesting to me in the books. Every time it was one of his stories, I just kind of went, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
I've never had anything against him except... the one thing I've really loved is in certain versions of the story, his mask's origin.
Yeah,
it's pretty
sometimes
fucking
it's actually
awesome.
grafted to his face, and
sometimes
gives him
it's
telepathic
grafted
powers or something.
Well, not even that. No, one origin.
What was it? I can't remember.
I can't remember where I got this.
Can't be bothered to remember with Roman.
One of the origins was that the mask itself was born from one of like a hanged inmate at Arkham Asylum's coffin.
Oh, okay.
Which is just. It's a sweet little starting point for a story.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I forget where. That might have been Grant Morrison.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Sounds crazy enough for him, right?
It does. It does. Like, anything that sounds so crazy that it makes me go like, well, that's really cool. It's usually written by Grant Morrison.
That's often a Grant. We know that.
But you guys know that if you listen to the show. For you newcomers, Doom Patrol is the finest live action thing I've ever seen out of DC. So that's my opinion.
It was so good. Followed by almost the rest of the DC universe as it is right now. Short of Swamp Thing. We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about Swamp Thing. Actually, we do. Turtle Sue.
Fuck that.
Little Susie.
A thing that could have been so much better.
Actually, we do talk about Swamp Thing way more than we should.
I know. Performance-wise, stellar. Just absolutely stellar. I didn't catch the Jerry Lewis thing. I don't disagree with you at all. He does pantomime that often, looking back on it, once you told me that.
Yeah.
I'd spent most of the time, like, kind of watching and admiring, like, man, he's really going for something here, and I dig it. And,
yeah.
I mean, it was kind of a deeply emotionally damaged take on it, which is perfect for a character like Harleen to be in there.
Oh, yeah.
Where she could just pop in and give you a quick diagnosis. And they toyed with it, but the whole time I'm thinking, like, no, he needs a real diagnosis. Like,
well, I mean, I think she gave him one kind of as he was, like, interrogating her. She's like, oh, don't do your plan. I don't want to know about your plan. I don't want to know meticulous details about all the things. That was fantastic.
Though, yeah, that little scene where she just strips him down, straight reads him, as they would call it these days. That was fantastic. The whole time I'm thinking, especially when he's like completely humiliates that lady, Erica. And I only remember that because he was screaming it at her. Like I was genuinely. It was one of those moments where I was watching, thinking like, nothing's even really happening, and this is maybe the most brutal thing I've seen.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen knees get snapped in ways that no doctor would ever be able to repair. Doctor Strange, with both his magical and surgical abilities, could not repair some of the damage I've seen her do, and this is more brutal.
Right. And just because he thought she was laughing at him.
Yeah, but it was, I think, like, the seed of it is, I think, narcissistic personality. Which is sometimes a borderline diagnosable thing, and it's borderline whether it's a thing at all sometimes. But there are tendencies within it that make sense for certain people. And he also had like this schizotypal almost kind of side to him, where he could just bounce into like the Black Mask guy a little bit. Not dissociative identity, that's different entirely, but like to split your personality in certain ways. Like especially when Zaz goes over there and almost calculatingly lets him get riled up about the diamond being gone. And then goes over there and kind of grabs his hands, pulls him down, and says, "Hey man, we've been waiting a long time to kill this bitch. We'll do that. We'll blow off a little steam." But like talks him down. Yeah. And it was a really boss move though, because like after all that, like in doing that, he makes Dinah. It's Dinah, right? Yeah. Yeah. And she makes Dinah complicit because she didn't speak up and say something. She's got to deal with that now. And then he, in front of her, controls his situation emotionally. And basically, like, commands the situation. And then he gives a quick little, like, soft pucker-up kiss thing. And just walks off. And I was like, yeah, he's the one really in charge of this. Yeah. He's using Sionis, as he's... Romy? We'll call him Romy. He's using Romy as a method to gain the most possible access to violence. Because that's all he cares about. Yeah. Dude, and that part was really true for Zaz. I like that.
When he's paralyzed Harley, and he's like
thumping her on the face and stuff.
Yeah, and he's like talking about, like, he pulls open his shirt and he shows her all of his scars. And he's like,
right over the heart.
I have one, for every little birdie I help fly away from this world. Yeah. And he's like, I've been saving a space right here for you. And he like rubs his chest. I'm going, where? There's nothing but scars. It's nothing but
you are a patchwork of failed skin heals.
By the way, guy that played Zaz was fantastic.
I've liked him in every single thing I've ever seen. I can't name a single thing I've ever seen him in, but I know I've seen his face many times, and I've liked it every time. It's pretty sure he was in, what was that Sorkin show about the newsroom? Called The Newsroom. Pretty sure he was in that.
He was.
And he was great.
Yeah, he was.
I even like seeing the guy that was like the lackey of the captain. That was kind of not really the Montoya's partner. Yes. I don't remember him from much. The only thing I've seen him is in Future Man, like the Evan Rogan Goldberg thing.
Yeah, I hate that show.
I really enjoyed it.
Oh, it was so bad.
It was good stupid.
No, it was boring stupid to me.
Oh, it was the good kind of stupid.
But yeah, he did a really good job, and I wrote him off a little bit in my head. I tried not to. I actively tried not to do that.
I think it's a Joe Messina, I want to say.
But Chris Messina.
Chris Messina. There we go.
I actively try not to do that. I'm bad about that. And I think
you see an actor that
I think everybody's well, no, because like it's the Cavill Reeve situation. You know what I mean? Like you have a preferred version of the character.
Yeah.
And at the time that he was announced, I was so deep in with the dude from Gotham. I loved that version of Zaz so much.
It was really good.
That I didn't want to accept anybody else as Zaz. So I was just like, that doesn't look like Zaz. He's not Zaz.
Yeah.
Even though I know in my heart, I know like the comics, I've seen so many different drawings of Zaz. He looks different. You know, but you know, I'm. This is what I'm saying, guys. You gotta give these people a chance because he was fun. This dude, Chris Messina, was phenomenal. I want to use this as
a quick call to action kind of thing. For if you understand you have those instincts and you're willing to work against them, it's one of those moments where like you have the tools and we need to fight the system as it is. Like this is an uprising that needs to happen kind of thing. Because that instinct is literally part of the algorithm they use to choose whether people are the right role for a movie. They use that. They use like what have you been in recently? Does it match? Are you playing to type or playing against type? All that. They consider all these things, and they're these old guard considerations that they've had some Moneyball type analytics people come in and literally put an algorithm to. Yeah. And it's got its uses. But if we want to get what we really want out of these movies, if we want to get, you know, kind of this semi-spiritual fulfillment out of watching something and getting to the next level about like, holy shit, that transcended that. I didn't expect that from these people and all that. I think you have to fight that system a little bit.
You do.
And really enjoy it and really applaud somebody who goes a different way with a character and stuff like that. Like, that's important because otherwise we're going to get the same fucking shit the rest of our lives.
Right.
And I don't think that's what we want to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Quick soapbox. I'm down. I'm good.
Yay.
Soapbox tucked under the table.
Yay. I started the soapbox. Man. Oh, I felt bad about this. I can't help it. I can't help my brain. Brutal scene when the girl's on the table, you know, and crying because she laughed and he thought it was her. Great acting with Journey Smollett Bell as the single tear rolls down, and I was just disgusted and upset by this scene. And then in my head somewhere, I heard myself chuckle, and I went, "What are you on about?" And then it whispered, "Canary cry."
Oh no!
I thought, "You're a bastard."
Yeah, that's a defense mechanism kicking in, I think.
Maybe.
Oh, I might feel something. This got serious. Let me find a thing I can focus on.
You know, incredibly dark humor coming through. Like, get it? Because she's canary.
That helps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see what they did. I wonder if they did that. Then I'm like distracted. I wonder if Christina Hodson meant for that to happen. I wonder if this was the Kathy Yan thing or... I feel like there was a lot of that kind of stuff though in this movie.
It was.
Because it is deeply funny and very, very dark. Like the whole
genuinely funny. And by the way,
in a lot of ways, I feel like the movie itself is a sprawling defense mechanism.
Yes. I mean, it's very fitting to have a character like her who... I love when she says step one, and then she goes through the entire history of her character in this franchise as it exists so far. And it's this long, sprawling speech of impossible things that would never happen to anybody. And then, okay, step two.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yes.
By the way, a bookend they used that... I'll put it this way. Do you not want to try that fucking sandwich?
I do.
It looked fantastic.
Yeah.
It was like the back end bacon, the full strips, not that silly shit that comes in actual strips at the grocery store. No, this was real back end fucking bacon.
And you know, as a person who walked into that theater hungry,
oh yeah,
I really was like
an actual fried egg, not scrambled. Scrambled.
That's the sad thing. Because this, like I was talking about how like, oh, they're gonna make the hyena the dog from John Wick now. No, the sandwich at the beginning of the movie was the dog from John Wick, because that's what propelled Harley to all these heights. Is like or at least started her. Yeah, it was the catalyst.
It really was the catalyst to this movie, and they bothered bringing it back, and so help me.
She lost me a little bit with the 6-month-old G's, but
you know. When it's truly like cheap plastic, like not even craft, the stuff that's the knockoff, like the great value version, sitting on a shelf, as we might say, that it's just, maybe it is doable.
Maybe.
I'm not saying it's good,
Mm-hmm.
But some part of me is like, it is cheese after all.
Yeah,
Maybe that does add value. I don't know.
You got to get that American cheese that doesn't even look like cheese. It looks more like the blister bubble from an action figure that's been sitting in a smoker's house.
A little bit. I'm thinking like, you ever flipped through the dollar section of a vinyl store?
Sure. Most of my misbegotten youth.
Well, like the floppiness of one of those old cheap vinyls. The ones that you could tell, even when they put it out, was third rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
You came in the back of a Barbie, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like, you were...
You were one of like OG Happy Meal gifts.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I get that. Damn, sandwich looked good though.
That sandwich did look good. We've got eggs in there.
Probably gonna make one at some point.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got eggs.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to make that, but I'll make something.
Fried, not scrambled.
I might have just given myself another reason to go to Walmart.
There you go.
Huntress.
Damn, so much fun.
A lot of fun. I felt for her.
It's a terrible backstory.
Terrible backstory. Horrible backstory.
Yeah.
But just that sense of humor there in there with her. Like, for all of her badassery, she can't get the line right. She's like, "Do you know who I am? Do you know who?" Just practicing in the mirror is just so funny, and I love that because I watched this shit and watch Harley Quinn going, "You have failed this city." I'm like, how many times has he practiced that in the mirror? Like,
yeah, you kind of wonder, like, that badassery, that machismo doesn't come out of anywhere. You've got to develop that. You don't just one day turn around and put that on.
Yeah.
That comes from somewhere. And yeah, like focusing on her not getting it right. Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah.
My favorite line from her, aside from when she laughs at Canary's car getting stolen, that was pretty good.
Yes. That was great.
Sorry. My favorite of my moment with her probably was just post putting down Zaz. It's like, I feel like I walked into something here. I killed that guy. I'm good here. I'm just gonna try to bail.
Yeah.
That was maybe my favorite moment.
I don't know. I had several favorite moments.
With her, at least.
I had. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I love that.
Others come to mind.
I love that everyone kept calling her the crossbow killer, and she was so angry about that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Like, I'm not the crossbow killer.
That's pretty good.
And then they said it was a bow and arrow. She's like, "It's not a bow and arrow. It's a crossbow." She was great.
What did she say? Like, I'm not a fucking child. It's a crossbow. And I kind of, she said that, and I kind of thought to myself, well, I'm pretty sure as a kid I dreamed of firing both of those. I'm not sure that exempts you in any way.
I don't know. When she said that for just a second, they moved on. I wanted someone to be like, "Dude, Green Arrow? What are you talking about?" You know, I wanted someone in the narrative to be
include that little bit.
Dude, Green Arrow is a total badass, and he uses the bow and arrow.
Yeah, I don't think they're ready to open that can yet.
Oh, open it. Open the can.
Oh,
let me see what's inside.
One's a thing we know. We both laughed at it when Captain Boomerang's on the wanted poster.
Yes, I know that guy.
And just moved on. Mm-hmm. That was great.
Yes,
but it was almost the only reference, except the puddin' shirt.
There was the Daddy's Little Monster
Little Monster shirt, yeah.
There was her changing her puddin' tattoo on her leg.
I saw that.
There were the flashbacks to her falling into the acid and Joker pulling her out.
Yeah, saw that.
There was the verbal mention of saving the world in Suicide Squad and having a bomb planted in her neck.
Mm-hmm. During the diatribe about Step 1.
Right.
We did get to see the happy face guy, and she dared Joker to tattoo a happy face on this guy, a happy clown face. Mm-hmm. And you and I looked it up on IMDb afterward. I meant to look for it on the screen, but I forgot at the time. Uh-huh. It's somebody that looks like Leto's Joker, but it could easily be somebody that's a body double, and it's uncredited, and it doesn't have a vocal role. So I'm pretty sure by SAG rules, you don't have to credit him.
I mean, you didn't see his face. You didn't see it.
No face, no nothing,
voice.
just the back of the head.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you can just uncredit that and be like, yeah, we...
But that wasn't from Suicide Squad.
No, that would have been new footage if it had been a thing, but it wasn't. And there was no hint of it. So if anyone was hoping for a Joker moment in this movie, I'm sorry, but you probably shouldn't have been hoping for it.
I mean, you got a little bit. You got like a little animated Joker at the beginning, and
that was fun. I like that they went with a really old design on him, both the drawing and the thing she's throwing knives at.
Well, I didn't feel like they did that with the thing she's throwing knives at. To me, the drawing looked like Leto.
A little bit, but it had more of a flared kind of hair. It didn't sit down as much. I don't know. I have to look at it again. But
it's in all the trailers.
It is in all the trailers. One thing in the party, and I'm wondering if I just overthought this, but you remember in the party scene up front when she's just getting drunk as fuck. I mean, she is wrecking it. Like enough that at some point I kind of thought, and I don't know if they've ever said this in this universe, but I feel like the bath and the Ace Chemicals thing makes you more resistant to body toxins in a way. Because she got over that dark faster than she should have.
Yeah.
I mean,
probably depends on the mythology. I mean, I remember Ivy giving her a shot in BTAS so that she was immune to the same toxins that Ivy was.
Yeah, but that's an Ivy thing. She could do that with anybody theoretically, in my mind. Also, the amount that she was drinking to be alive and not hospitalized, pretty impressive. I walked away from the movie kind of somewhere in the movie decided like, no, I think her blood works differently than the rest of us because
I mean
that bitch should not be standing.
Also, the whole movie is unreliably told through Harley's eyes, so there's no telling what actually happened.
There is some unreliable narrator to it, but they didn't really tip their hat to that very much. Like, it feels like they could use it later. But,
yeah.
And they even say up front that she's going to tell the story how she wants, but she doesn't necessarily... I mean, you could interpret that sentence two ways. Let me rephrase it one way and the other. I'm going to tell the facts of this story however I feel like. Or, I'm going to tell this story however I feel like, fuck the facts. Both are interpretable from that sentence, I feel like. But it seemed like the tone they went for was that, no, this really happened.
Huge chunks of it at least happened. It may have just been a little different than it was. You know what I mean?
Maybe exaggerated here and there. I mean, yeah, definitely if you want to exaggerate it. But it didn't get hints of that.
Since it was from Harley's...
Like, it wasn't like Joker where you walk away thinking, I know some of this isn't real. Like, they made you know that.
Yeah, yeah.
This one didn't do that to me. There was no... They didn't plot that, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Now, quick question, though, before I forget.
Sure.
In that bar scene, she's running around. Really funny. Like throwing up in that random lady's purse. That was pretty good. Actually, when they said that when she went back to that bar scene and that was supposed to be somehow related to the diamond, I kind of thought, I wonder if she threw up on that diamond.
Yeah.
But at some point, just for a couple seconds, she stops and she's yelling at this like head, this bust.
Yeah, you got to learn to stand on your own. You got to do, whatever it was.
It wasn't that. You couldn't hear her what she was saying. It was during the montage of her party.
Oh, no, I heard she did say something about standing on your own or standing up for yourself.
You could hear it?
Absolutely.
I couldn't hear it. I just heard the music. I was also trying to listen to the music because I enjoyed it. But only reason I ask, and it was a quick shot, may have overseen it, may have overthought it. May have underheard it.
Okay.
It just looked a hell of a lot like the little mask that Batman had on when he dove in and rescued her.
What did?
On that little bust head.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't even notice what was on the bust head.
There was like a little black thingy coming out from the face.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
I immediately saw that and kind of thought, well, that makes sense. You've got like a mobbish, criminalish dive bar, and every now and then some Flotsam and Jetsam from Batman's Adventures will show up, and you'd put that as a trophy in your bar and be like, yeah, check it out, we got some Batman shit.
That'd be kind of cool. I didn't even catch that.
I don't know if I caught it or made it up. I saw it. I don't know if I just
fair enough.
Interpreted it wrong.
We'll see.
Time will tell.
We will see.
Time will tell.
I loved this movie, though.
I really love this movie. That was a lot of fun. I'd watch it again right now.
Yeah, I think I would too. I'm so tired.
I know. I got a long weekend ahead of me. I don't think though that I don't think there's anything where I'm going to walk away thinking, well, this movie is fundamentally flawed. Like the script was tight.
Yeah, it was tight. There were a couple of conveniences, but it could be chalked up to Harley exaggerating shit.
And there could just be a couple of conveniences of plot device here and there. And a movie with that much action, it's going to happen from time to time.
Yeah.
Like some of the tightest written movies that I don't know, that I enjoy are the Edgar Wright
Yeah.
Sean and everything, like the Cornetto trilogy.
Right.
And, there are moments in that where you're like, that was convenient.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think there's some of the tight. Shaun of the Dead's still, to me, pound for pound, one of the tightest movies ever written. Every single thing in it, every moment, every scene, every line has a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's still moments.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would, if I watch this again right now, I don't think I'd walk away thinking, well, now I see something.
Right.
I think I would probably just enjoy myself again.
Yeah.
And have more time to look at the fucking, like, super fantastical, over-the-top action scenes and be able to look at the choreography a little bit better and just be like, damn, that was a really good move, you know?
Yeah. And look, man, I'm gonna say this too. I enjoy the CW shows. Supergirl gets heavy-handed with the lady stuff. This movie does not. It just doesn't.
This is something that occurred to me during the credits.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of fucking. There was a lot of stupid made-up bra press.
Yeah.
Am I pronouncing that correctly? Bra, whatever.
Bro.
Dudes wearing
Okay.
tap-out t-shirts press.
Uh-huh.
Whose brims I would be willing to wager are flat.
I almost thought you were saying bra, like a brassiere press.
See, that's why I questioned how I said that. I mean bra with the H. There was a lot of stuff like that. Some of it was press, some of it was just Twitter feedback bullshit, whatever. But there was some hype one way or the other about like this being such a girl movie.
Right.
I've got to give it full credit for this. It did not reach for any girl moments.
No.
Everything
like
that happened was earned.
No one said girl power?
No.
Uh,
Literally, the entire story, all it did was tell its fucking story.
Yeah. I mean, they had
Just
some...
way more powerful.
Yes, I agree. They had some shady dudes in it, but who were obviously, bad people who were about to rape some girls or something, but
yeah,
it wasn't like, oh, men are scum or anything.
There was no, like, I don't know. I think the side of that argument when they were watching it, the people who were predisposed to being either hateful or, I don't know, super off-put by the whole girl power thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's plenty of rabble about it, but
Right.
I don't think there's a leg to stand on there.
No.
Like, if you had switched every single gender in this movie, it wouldn't have changed the movie substantially in any capacity.
And even the guys who are complaining that the birds of prey aren't sexy anymore, there are plenty of legs to stand on in the opposite direction.
Wrong.
Because, oh my damn.
Yeah. Most of the people that watch this movie are going to have 3 legs to stand on. That's what that amounts to.
Well, most of the men who watch it
I would
anyway.
wager people.
Okay.
That was an objectively... an objectively badass thing. If you're not rooting for that one way or the other, I don't know what to
I mean, Huntress spends a fair amount of time in a cloak.
Oh, yeah. No, we're not talking about overtly sexual or anything. I just
Right.
mean badassery and power on that level are just of enticing.
But they're still hot. They're still really attractive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what these people are talking about who are like, they're not sexy now. Like, really?
It's a mindset I can't get my head around.
Because every square inch of footage that Journey Smollett was on, I was like, yowza.
Dripping over. Yeah, I get it.
I don't know about dripping. That's disgusting. Why would you say that?
I just wanted to make...
She's a knockout.
Just wanted to make the moment as terrible as possible.
I don't want to make it terrible. I just want to say, damn, and move on.
I agree. Damn, and move on. Just wanted to ruin that for you. Sorry.
It just aggravates me. Like, these guys are like, they don't look like they do in the comics. Well, no, because if they did in the comics, they would like move an inch and one tit would fall out because you can't do that.
No. Let's put it this way. Jim Lee did not draw a bunch of people that could be done live.
Physics, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Physics, kinesiology, any of it. Basic human anatomy. None of it. And also, it was nice to see the nod to the original Harley costume.
Mm-hmm. And the nod to the... I gotta say, I didn't care. It
wasn't even the original, but a nod,
They had a nod to it.
It was a nod to it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a mock-up of the original. It was just a nod.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, it was still utility. Like, it's still bulletproof.
Dude, I loved Canary's final costume at the end. Like in the blue
and
the fishnet
good.
arms.
Yeah.
Like the sleeves. Like
I love that blue too.
Yes.
I love that shade of blue.
Didn't like the cut on Huntress's costume at the end. It totally called back to the comics and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it was very comics accurate.
Yeah, but it was like weird. It was like a tracksuit.
It was a little weird to look at, yeah.
It was like a tracksuit. It was like,
You know what occurred to me when I saw it? It looked like some kind of like...
Old lady in the 80s.
No. Like the basic underlayer of some NASA training site.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Like it kind of looked like super protective in a way.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would hope it would be.
But also a little bit, what's the word I want here? Bulgy in certain spots. Mm-hmm. Like, it had an 80s feel to it where like some of the contours seemed just, why? Why are they there?
Yeah. It was a little funky, but it's only on screen for like 2 seconds, so who cares?
Yeah. I did not care at all.
All of that will be redesigned by the next movie, if there is a next movie.
I mean, even, and depending on the sales, of course, I don't think because of any kind of critical backlash, there's not going to be another one of these. But even if let's put it this way. If we're wrong, and that didn't seem like a slightly odd costume, and the rest of the world loves it through and through, and this movie makes $1.5 billion this weekend. I'm naming a bunch of impossible things on purpose.
Right.
They will still redesign her costume going into the next movie.
That's absolutely true. By the way, that's a good question. What do you think about the audience tonight? Because we went to the 6 o'clock showing on Thursday night, and there was maybe like 10 people in that theater. I
mean, it was double that, but it was still, yeah. I mean, it was about 20, I counted.
Okay. When we walked in, there were like 2 people. So
there were 10 when we walked in. There were 18 by the time everyone got seated.
Okay.
I don't make anything of it. I've seen some of the pre-sale numbers. I also know where we are in the country, and if some people don't go, like I know people in my life that love the Marvel movies. Like will geek out with me about the Marvel movies. Yeah. And then if I bring up Captain Marvel, shut down. They just shut down because Bree said one thing at a press junket sometime, where it seemed like she was a man hater, I guess. Yeah. And it was over for them. Yeah. I feel bad for them because going forward, that's going to be a thing they're going to deal with. Yes, it is. And that was $1 billion badass fucking movie. I feel for him. And
there's a lot of people who have issues with Brie Larson that just don't even hold that opinion or aren't angry about her comments or anything. They're just like, no, she acts like a sociopath. Like they've like analyzed, like you could find YouTube videos where they're like, look at this, look at this.
I've seen clips of it where it's like,
and even
she's a lizard person, that kind of thing.
Yeah, even the other like people, the other actors in the Marvel movies are just like looking at her like, what is your problem, dude? What is going on here? Like she's just so awkward and weird. I don't have a problem with her. I don't care. Like I liked Captain Marvel. I enjoyed the movie. She just seems like an awkward chick.
Even if all of the awkwardness and all the paused YouTube videos are right, you know what? Yeah. I guarantee you Winona Ryder is worse, and you're still going to watch the next season of Stranger Things.
That's right. I haven't even liked the last 2 seasons of Stranger Things. I'm going to finish the series. You're going to watch this series. The season 1 was good enough that it bought it that much time. Like I'm going to keep watching
Season 5, I might think about giving up.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they'll end it before that. They're actually telling a story, but
I think it'll be next season personally.
I love this thing. I wish I could watch it right now. I hope it makes all the money.
That was to the crowd thing. That was what I'm saying. Like, part of the country we were in, there is a certain demographic that just straight up is not going to want to see it. Yeah. And I do think it will affect the numbers in our area.
It might, yeah.
I don't think it has any effect globally or even probably domestically on the whole. But honestly, we're in Birmingham, man.
We're not even in Birmingham proper. We're in Trussville,
which is super conservative suburban. Yeah, like Birmingham.
One couple I saw stand up, like the dude did not look happy. He had a frown. He was just shaking his head and like had his hand on the small of his wife's back, leading her out. Like this was not what we signed up for.
I don't know what the hell you signed up for.
Like, have you ever read a Gail Simone comic? Get the hell out, old man.
A Gail Simone comic, to sum up, is about a bunch of bad bitches kicking some fucking ass. That's generally what you're going to get. Yep. And some good one-liners, because she's actually pretty good at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. It's Thursday night at 6 o'clock.
Thursday is literally the first showing.
It's like, people are...
Now, I mean, comparatively, I've seen first showings Thursday, 6:30, 6:45, whatever. 6 was actually pretty early for that particular venue. Like, it was weird. When we showed up, when I showed up, I beat you there about 10 minutes. The concession stand wasn't even...
Yeah.
Like the lady that's there had to call and tell somebody, hey, there's actually people.
Oh, wow.
Like, literally, people had clocked in like 5 minutes before we showed up. Mm-hmm. There were still people building, and this was hilarious to watch. I don't know which movie they were building one of those cardboard displays for.
I saw a SpongeBob.
I thought I saw that too.
Uh-huh.
I only saw a piece of it. Mm-hmm. But if I understand this correctly, I walked in, and there were pieces, and for a second I thought, because the coloring, and it's a very...
you thought it was Birds of Prey?
Yeah, for a second, because the coloring,
yeah.
Because it's that very vibrant, kind of smoky, like, you know that tradition in India where you do the whatever run thing and then they throw dyes at each other? I have no idea what to call it, but it looks fantastic. It looks
cool.
like a lot of fun.
I'm
But
sure
it's basically like, I don't know, it's just very colorful, very vibrant, all the colors mixed together. All the dyes at like their most super saturated kind of point, you know. And I saw that and thought, oh, cool. And then I laughed in my head, thinking like, I know it's the first showing, but you don't have the fucking cardboard up yet? Like, somebody didn't show up like an hour early to get that ready? And what cracked me up was I walked in and they were assembling it, and I could tell they were literally pulling out the instructions and talking and game planning. And I swear when we walked out of that theater almost 2 hours later...
They were in the same place.
They were in less place. More pieces were on the ground than were up at this point.
I knew it was bad. I walked out and saw it and I went, no, guys.
I genuinely wanted to walk over and be like, can I help y'all?
Yeah. I felt bad because like one guy had like a single tooth and I was like, oh, bud.
Yeah, it was a classic pairing. I
was like, this is trustful.
It was a classic pairing of one guy who looked competent and the other guy who looked like definitely the helper. He was not in charge of the ship. He's just doing what the captain said.
By the way, yeah, I didn't hear what they were saying, but the competent looking guy,
yeah,
I think he thought I heard him. I just like walked out and like nodded at him because you know that awkward thing where you kind of catch
eye contact,
and all of a sudden it's like he's like nodding at each other, and so I just nodded at him, and he like rolled his eyes and like motioned his head toward the other guy. And I was like, oh, okay. He thought I heard something.
No, I know that moment. That's the moment. That's the moment where you know damn well, because he's doing it in the lobby of a theater, which, by the way, is called a theater, a place where people would come to observe things.
Right.
And you're sitting there in the most utmost, like, the bottleneck of observance, and you've been sitting there for 2 hours, and it's getting worse. Like, you're not getting any closer to this task being done. And another point where you're like, in your head, you're blaming the person you're with. Mm-hmm. And somebody mentioned, somebody just catches eyes, like you said, and you think they're saying, you still working on that, buddy?
Yeah.
You're not. You're just saying hi with eyes, being polite.
Yeah. I also recognize that I'm a pretty tall guy. Yeah. So I'm probably the one person he's like recognized going into the theater and then coming back out.
Yeah. That's fair.
Oh, there's that really tall guy with a Superman hat again. He probably thinks I'm an idiot.
We were working on this when he walked in.
And we have less done now.
We should be on the way home by now.
I mean, there's a possibility that he's smiling from ear to ear because that was a really good movie. Or maybe he's laughing at me.
Yeah.
Get on the table and dance.
That's a good
point.
Get on the
table and dance.
He was having a Roman Sionis moment. That's perfect.
So we ain't said nothing about Rosie Perez, man.
Oh, shit. That was good, too.
She was good.
I mean, all right, let's go through character by character, make sure we cover everybody. We'll start with her, I guess. Rosie Perez. I love Montoya as a character. I've always loved every version of her.
Felt bad for her.
The one thing where I was like, oh, are they going to give me this? And they didn't, and, maybe, was when they go back to their being the birds of prey. Mm-hmm. When she's Montoya, and some part of me was like, somebody say something about a question. Somebody say something about a question.
You're going to give that one up for a second.
But didn't happen. I'll live. I mean, I think there will be another one, so maybe I get that at some point.
Yeah.
And actually, to that point, it would be a good idea because she retired. By the way, I love the way she retired from the police offices.
Yes.
She is swigging from a flask with her sunglasses on,
yeah.
which at this point means it's a hair of the dog swig.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a you don't have the sunglasses on for a day drinking swig. We're not having fun here. You're fixing the problem from yesterday. That's what's happening here.
Uh-huh.
And then boxing up her stuff in that classic box, and then just upends that fucking douche nozzle's files on the way out, and give one last hurrah to the fucking Bronx cheer to the fucking captain that used her twice now. All that. Loved her just storming out. But think about it. Now she's running around with two people. They're all kind of in a costume.
Yeah.
But those two people on her flank, at some point, if they keep going comics accurate, are going to have a domino mask at least.
Uh-huh.
She got nothing.
Right.
It kind of makes sense if she had something that just covered her whole face.
It does.
I'd love to pitch it if I had the chance.
Honestly, yeah. I'd love to see proper Question and her team up and for a standalone story, and then that baton be passed.
Yeah. You couldn't do it in the most famous of the ways, because, like, he was dying of fucking lung cancer and passed it off to somebody.
Why not?
It could be.
Why couldn't you? You could.
It could be.
I don't need a trilogy of
But that was largely between, Hub City, Kate Kane, and Nanda Parbat. I mean, that particular story was...
Condense.
Largely based around Black Adam. I mean, you can't...
Condense.
Just pull some elements. Make it work. I think you could.
You definitely could.
I agree.
She is a vigilante in the city. He is a vigilante in a city.
Make it happen.
You don't need any of that other shit.
Make it happen.
You really don't.
I don't think there's been any mention of Hub City in the whole DCEU right now.
Probably not. Maybe.
I think Midway was the most extraneous of the cities we had mentioned.
I'm starting to doubt that. I think there may have been a mention of Hub City, but
maybe.
I'm just saying you can they cut out David Kane and all of the assassin shit from Cassandra Cain, all of her being mute, all of her.
Well, it's not so much cutting things out.
Oh, they just butchered
pulling.
They yanked that right out. They got to the meat of what they wanted to tell. We don't need Nanda Parbat and Black Adam. And
I'm
all
okay
that
with
shit.
there not being there. I'm not saying you have to have everything. I'm just saying there's a lot of that particular transition that revolved around a very specific story. So if I'm just focusing on what you have to wheedle it down to, you're right. You can take somebody from another city who is an unnamed low-key crime fighter that we've never had to mention before because it's not... I mean... we were previously dealing with Justice League stories and shit. We don't necessarily have to deal with Question and Hub City.
Right.
Then you can just bring this guy out and over and say, like, actually, that would fit so much because he would be able to walk in and just tell her, like, the reason you were let go is you were willing to ask the question.
Oh, yes.
And fucking that would be perfect.
Yes.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm damn sure that whoever's the writer knows that that's another identity she has in the books.
Well, sure.
Hadn't thought about it before, but I think they were nodding to that part of her personality while they were doing some of this.
Yeah. When she got shot, I was a little curious. I was like, you're going to put her in a wheelchair and she's going to be Oracle now? What is that? That was a quick question in my head.
I mean, it could be, but they didn't show any technical prowess, and I feel like that part is important.
Right.
If anything is important.
Well, she did research. She did mention that she did research.
Yeah, but when she was tearing her research down, it was literally the yarn thing.
But did you notice that it was exactly the kind of shit Question did? It was like the conspiracy shit. Yeah. It was like the pictures with all the yarn strings.
It was. Yeah. The more and more we've talked about it, I'm convinced that somebody had this in mind.
Christina Hodson totally knows she's
Not
the
that they're going to do it, but that she knows that that's a thing that Renee Montoya sometimes is.
Yeah. She totally knows.
Gosh, she should just make it the question. Oh, think about the blue on the suits at the end of the Birds of Prey as they were.
Uh-huh.
Give her a nice blue duster.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Yes, please. All right, who else we got?
All right, we got
thing I leaned over and told you after the culmination. Hey, I don't think Roman's going to be in the sequel.
Yeah. He got blowed up real good.
I think he gone.
You hear things about like, well, we never saw a body. We saw a body.
Dead right.
We saw a body.
We saw parts of a body
in many different directions.
Dissemble themselves.
Yep, we sure did.
He's not coming back.
Sure did, buddy. Good God. That was hilarious.
It was really funny, and it was also really fulfilling because there are times like that where you're like, oh, I don't know if the villain's really gone, and it cheapens the movie to some extent. Not all of them, sometimes.
Yeah. I don't need Vic Sage to help me answer that question.
It's over, son. It's done. I was thinking about it too on the ride over to your house. I was thinking about, like, God, that has gotta suck. Like, imagine your last couple of moments are realizing that you have an explosive on your person and a pickpocket has left it there. And, oh, on top of that, you're wearing a 3-piece suit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to look down and be like, well, that's me. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'd scream. I'd just kind of, it's ... the end. Fucking, it's over.
That was so good.
Oh, poor thing.
That was so good.
That was. I really enjoyed them talking to each other, and the whole, like, as the scene builds, Roman's more like, what the hell is happening here?
Yep. It made me so happy. Black Canary was fantastic.
Was great. Oh, that scream. That culmination with the scream was...
We only got one. But it was her accepting herself and accepting what her mother was.
It led up to it.
And that was powerful, and that was great. And I love that they mentioned her mother being the Black Canary.
I know. That was really good.
I was
but
so
there's
excited
a backstory
about
there.
that. Yes.
Which also creates an entire backstory to Gotham.
Yes.
That is in this universe
Batman
now.
is not
short
the first
of the
vigilante.
unreliable narrator thing. There is a background now. There was a JSA.
Conceivably. All we really know is that there was a Black Canary, and she was a vigilante in Gotham before Bruce.
And died like a dog on the street.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what you do when you're a vigilante.
Well, especially the OGs.
Yeah.
There's no funeral. There's no process.
Yeah, slow-mo, Zack Snyder style.
There's no
out in the
secret
street.
funding of the Justice League Watchtower by Wayne Industries so you get a decent funeral. Nothing like that.
Mm-mm.
No pension for the family. You dead.
That's right.
And then apparently your daughter takes a job with the person who got off the streets, regrets it terribly, moves on to better ideas.
That's right.
Inspired by some unwholesome folk, but...
Unwholesome folk.
I did love that journey too. I did really enjoy how they leaned on Harley just being fucking the worst. You know, like, they spent a lot of this film, really all of the film, except for the last scene, harping on the idea that, like, no, she's just terrible. Like, the only reason she's not dead is because Joker's super fucking scary. And we fear what would happen.
She is the most obnoxious, annoying person that's ever lived, possibly. And, it made perfect sense. It didn't make sense to me how everyone found her immediately as soon as they heard about the chemical.
Well, you just said she's the most
obnoxious
and loud person.
I know, but she's also an unreliable narrator, so that could be a little smushed.
See, I'm not leaning on that necessarily. I'm willing to accept it within 6 hours because I think the key players like that on the map, everybody knows where to find them.
Maybe.
I think
everyone's on their phone telling, like, no, that bitch is here.
Yeah. And there are a lot of players in Gotham. So I like, for her to be surrounded in an alley like that makes sense.
Yeah. That shit was like the last act of the Blues Brothers, though. Like, the army, the people on horseback, freaking...
The kit and the caboodle, the whole fucking thing.
The cop on the intercom going, unnecessary violence and the apprehension of the Blues Brothers has been approved.
Yeah. That part was, I enjoyed their leaning on it and there was a small redemptive arc. Not much of one.
No.
Not really much of one at all.
No, not really.
Like, she's standing on her own 2 feet now, and that's the redemptive arc that we get out of it. But, I mean, she spent most of the movie just trying not to get killed.
Right.
And then she spent a fair amount of the movie befriending, accidentally, and then betraying a child friend of hers. And then does a nice little team up at the end, only to immediately betray them over tacos.
Yes, which was fantastic.
It was good. That was a nice turn. I admit that was a nice turn. I'm not disagreeing with any of this. I thought it actually worked really well.
I would have been disappointed if she'd wound up in the group.
I even like that she kind of gives him a shout out. I was like, yeah, there's some bad bitches. I'll.
But they're do-gooders.
Yeah, but you'll get a sense of where she fits in with them later.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's a small battle up front in Act 1 of if there's a Birds of Prey 2, there's a battle with those 4 5. I'm guessing with Cassandra probably being trained at that point a little bit in something.
Yeah, maybe so.
Because she did make her apprentice.
Yes.
And you can call her soft if you want to.
Mm-hmm. Man, what a good movie.
That was a solid movie.
What a good movie. I enjoyed everybody in it.
Mm-hmm. I even love that they left themselves. This is actually really clever. They left themselves an out for using lines that are somewhat cliche in an action movie.
Mm-hmm.
By giving Montoya the trait that she sounds like she's in an 80s action movie the whole time.
That was fun.
That was pretty fucking clever.
I was just waiting for her to slowly pull off the glasses and make the quip,
Yeah.
Do the old David Caruso.
Yeah. But the funny part was she was the only one every now and then where I'd be like, well, that sounds kind of, wait a second. That's her role.
Mm-hmm.
That feels cliched and familiar. Wait a second. They've already described that to me. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
That was good lantern hanging.
Yep. I don't know, man. What else you got?
I think I'm good.
Music was great.
Editing
was great.
I want that soundtrack hard.
Mm-hmm.
Action was fucking phenomenal.
What was that song?
I watched John Wick 2 last weekend, and I'm more impressed by this movie.
Oh, good. What was the song that they were playing? No, that was a trailer before, where you leaned over and said something about the music.
Oh, yeah, in the Revenge movie before, they were playing Chris Thiele's Toxic cover of Britney Spears' Toxic.
Oh, I didn't realize it was Chris Thiele's version. It was just a creepy version.
If it wasn't his version, it was a knockoff of his version.
That's a 45-minute conversation. I will merely say I disagree, and I'm going to move on.
That was clearly a nod.
It may have been a nod. I don't know about a knockoff.
Because I don't remember a version of Toxic that does that, which is strange. Every now and then you run into one of these things where when you hear something covered, you realize that was actually a good song.
Mm-hmm.
It just got produced in a way where it wasn't something I loved up front.
I love Britney Spears' version of it.
I don't mind it. I really don't. When I went back and listened to it afterward, I was like, this is actually a lot better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
But listening to Thiele's cover of it, I was, oh no, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Actually,
There's a weird thing in your brain sometimes though, people it was Britney Spears or whoever, so whatever girl band or boy band thing, and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna like that, but no, usually they actually have pretty solid songwriters behind it.
Yeah. It happens. There were a lot of good covers in it. Like I said, I actually want the soundtrack. I'm going to get access to that as soon as possible.
I think it's on Spotify probably.
I wouldn't be surprised. Not at all. The one thing that I was looking for it in the credits and I didn't get it was there was a song in, I want to say it was the fight scene in the the second fight scene in the police department.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was there where I could swear it was a cover of Peter, John, and Bjorn. I want to say it's a name I've never got my head around because it's one of the songs that I like. The song "Young Folks." It's got the
maybe not.
I could swear that was a cover of that. And looking through the credits, I didn't see it, and I was maybe I got that wrong. It just had a very similar thing, but I recognized at least half of them as either covers or some version of a song. Oh, there it is. Look at it.
Yeah, Atlantic Records put out a playlist, official soundtrack playlist.
They said it was out. I just didn't see it was out. What's on it? Let me see. Let me scroll down. All right. Boss Bitch, don't know. Diamonds, sure, good. Joke's on You, that cover was fantastic. Don't remember Sway With Me. Nightmare, I kind of remember. That was pretty good. Adore You, yes. Why not throw in Shake That Ass by Juicy Fruit? Zedzilla and Shake That Ass. In one song named Shake That Ass. Yeah, sure, why not?
Do you know how many times I'm going to take clips of you saying Shake That Ass and place them? You know what?
I can't.
I'll surprise you.
I can't yet guess, but I imagine it's going to be numerous.
I'm writing down the time you said Shake That Ass.
I don't blame you. Good cover of Hit Me With Your Best Shot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
I really liked that one.
A really good cover of It's a Man's World.
Yes.
God damn, that bitch can sing.
That was her, too. That was...
I could tell. Oh, yeah, fuck. Heads will roll. I knew I heard that song in there. Track 1 off It's Blitz. Fucking yes. And that was one of the only... Oh, Girl Will Be a Woman Soon. God, that was good, too.
Mm-hmm. Well, I always liked that song.
God damn right. Moderat. That's a band I've been meaning to look into, but haven't quite got around to. Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. Yeah, we knew about that. Especially when they mentioned that the gold lines had been there for so long,
Mm-hmm.
bringing up Yeah, Yeah, Yeahs, I was partially hoping for the song, just because it's a really good song. Not for anything in particular, just really damn good song. Oh, I thought that had already been released.
Pringles is releasing a Rick and Morty inspired Pickle Rick chip for the Super Bowl. Or apparently they already did. That's strange.
We were looking at Dave's phone and he got a notification, and that was what was happening. And,
Yeah.
I thought I'd seen that was present tense.
I'm sure it
weeks
did.
ago.
I'm sure it already happened.
So every convenience store aisle I've walked down, I've glanced at the Pringles just to see, because I'm gonna buy them.
And then not eat them.
I'm gonna eat them.
Oh, you're gonna eat them.
Keep the package.
Oh, okay.
Probably fill it with tennis balls, just because that's what's funny to me.
Mm-hmm. You know the old Hedberg bit, Mitch Hedberg bit.
Yeah. They were trying to order. It was going to be a tennis ball factory, and some potatoes showed up, and he said, "Fuck it, slice them up." Well,
ducks eat for free at Subway, y'all. And they all want sun chips. Anyway.
What a fad.
This was a great movie, and you guys should go see it if you haven't. And I don't know why you listened to this whole review if you didn't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like some, grand sprawling, epic thing from the DC universe happened.
This wouldn't be like missing cameos in Crisis or something.
Right. The DCEU isn't a fundamentally different place now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe tonally.
Oh. Speaking of, the one stinger that was there.
Yeah.
Look, if for some reason you are listening to this and you haven't actually seen the movie, go ahead and pee after the credits start.
Mm-hmm.
Come back for the very end if you want to. It's just, I'm going to paraphrase it, but it's Harley saying something about like, "Are you idiots still here?" Kind of Ferris Bueller style. Well, since you're here, I guess I'll give you something. Let me tell you a little bit of a secret. Did you know that Batman...
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it. Which I assumed was and I don't
fucked
know.
Talia al Ghul.
No, I thought it was going to be that he screws bats, because that's the joke they keep using in the Harley Quinn animated series, and I don't know if they've used it I can't remember if they've used it in the comics. But
I don't remember it from the animated series.
Oh my God, she said it so many
possible.
times that he screws bats. He F's bats. That's what she always says. They've said it in every, like, the third or fourth episode she said it, and she has mentioned it in every episode since.
I've watched every episode so far, and I don't think that has ever caught my attention.
Yeah.
It's a fast show, to give me credit, but I did not catch that. Did not catch that at all.
I'm pretty sure that's what they're referring to.
That could be. Yeah, that very well could be. There was actually, in the opening credit sequence, that I felt like there was a nod to Harley, the animated series, there.
Maybe.
When she goes back and says, like, well, let me give you the beginning of the story, and it's the sperm and egg thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me skip ahead. And then it goes through. And then she gets inevitably to the point where Joker kicked her out.
Mm-hmm.
If you're caught up on it, and this is where I will say spoilers for anyone who's not caught up, give me a few seconds. But in the Harley animated series, it was the last couple episodes.
I have not seen after. I mean, I haven't seen after episode 9.
I can't remember the episode number, but there's the episode where she's finally gets into the Legion of Doom.
Yeah,
her and Joker hit it off again.
Yes, he kicks her out of the thing.
And he kicks her out of the helicopter.
Kicks her out of the helicopter.
And it's this long, sprawling shot of her despondently looking as she falls down.
Uh-huh.
And I saw that and thought, I've seen exactly that shot in the last, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
In animation form.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that really felt related in a way.
Yeah. For all I know, I have a shit memory. I've read some of those Jimmy Palmiotti or whatever comics and stuff, and Amanda Connor stuff. I've read a bunch of that. Can't remember jack shit. Like, I have a terrible memory. And it was a while ago.
I mean, we consume a lot of stuff. We're going to forget it. It'll be all right. We'll move on.
I didn't stick with it either. Like, I get sidetracked. I need to find out if I can get, seen about. Not even joking.
It'll just be, try to follow less stuff and focus on one or two things. And you'll be like, okay, cool. 1 or 2 things. I'm going to focus on the DC and the Marvel universe. And be like, no, it's not what I meant.
Yeah, no. Right now I'm focusing on DC and Star Trek.
And the same doctor will just take his glasses off and that despondent crawl over the eye where he rubs the eye a little bit to the back.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell he's trying to hold back a tear / not punch you.
Yeah. You're not Jeff Johns. You're ADHD. You don't have the mental capacity to house all of this shit.
Yeah, it happens.
I told Matt on the Star Trek UCast, I was like, no, I can't remember. I see, that's how bad it is. He told me something, and I was like, I don't. He's like, oh, yeah. I said, I'll remember it. I'm putting it in the Mind Palace. I'm putting it right next to the skateboard where I hurt myself on when I was 8 years old or some shit. Mm-hmm. Don't remember what that was, but now I remember the skateboard that I didn't actually use when I was 8 years old.
Nice. And a blank spot next to it with a question mark.
Yeah.
Maybe riddle me this written under it. Yeah.
It's just a blank spot where Taylor Swift's going to write my name.
I'm going to give you another spot. Adjacent to that is just a sleigh called Rosebud.
Uh-huh.
And that's all you can remember now. On your deathbed. You'll remember all that and just say Rosebud.
Oh, no.
That's all.
I'll always remember the sled. Union forever! Anyway, I think that's it. I think that's our show.
I think so. I enjoyed the show of this, though.
Really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, hit us up if we didn't cover something that you wanted to talk about. We'll be happy to. We got a news coming up.
We got a news.
I forget when. I think Monday. Anyway, we got a news coming up.
Probably Monday, yeah.
Here's soon, where we'll be able to, cover some opening figures and stuff like that.
Opening figures, we'll probably, since we didn't get to, for some, yeah, we got explained that we didn't mention a certain Green Lantern ring in a current or a recent review, I guess. So we'll probably talk about that in the news a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Nerdy-tastic.
Sorry.
So sorry. Yeah.
Sorry. There is an explanation. We talked about it.
It's probably in the Patreon episode.
It is. I know it's in the. I
just
edited it like last night. I know it's there. Tuesday night. Anyway, I know it's there.
Mm-hmm. Go see Birds of Prey again, and until next time, keep some DC on your screen.
Shake that ass.
Our intro music is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Galactic Engineers of Magnetic Sounds, or GEMS, can be found on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. Visit DCOnScreen.com to find our Patreon, merch, contact information, and every episode of the show for free, including crossovers we've done with other podcasts. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. For more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, vlogs, parodies, and our improvised web series Hey Guy, visit maladjusted.tv.
Are you ready for a rewarding career in the electrical industry? Quality Electric of the Coastal Carolinas, QECC, is looking for qualified electricians and electrical helpers to join its Charleston team. QECC offers guaranteed full-time hours, make up to $30 per hour with possible performance bonuses and career growth opportunities. Enjoy benefits like health insurance, dental and vision coverage, 401k plans, and more. If you're a motivated, experienced electrician, this job is for you. QECC is an equal opportunity employer. For all job inquiries, send email to hr@qeccinc.com.
O'Reilly! It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get up to a $25 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select Superstart batteries. Our professional parts people will test your old battery for free and recommend the right battery for your vehicle. For power, performance, and reliability, choose Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.